introduce myself. For those of you that haven't met me before, I think there might actually be one of you in the room. I'm Christine Travis. I'm the Regional Life Insurance Wholesaler for Nationwide. And the reason I'm here today is I wanted to speak with you about the value of life insurance and a solid financial plan. And before we get into the logistics of that, I do want to just spend a little time giving you guys some statistical data on why it's important for you to be talking to your clients about insurance. I'm not sure if any of you realize that the life insurance industry pays out about $1.5 billion in benefits every day. Social Security pays out $1.8 billion. So it's a pretty staggering number. Think of how many people rely on that social system. Life insurance is just as important. There are about 75 million Americans that own products, whether it's life insurance or annuities. But yet there's a market here that's greatly underserved, and this is why we're always talking about the importance of this when we're in your meetings. About 30% of the households in the United States have no life insurance. 50% of them feel like they need more, and over 80% of these people don't even discuss it with their advisors because they already have a pre-existing thought that it's too expensive. So I'm going to share with you a little story about my experience when I got into business, because much like yourselves, I sat and faced clients and I helped them with their planning. And just about every time I met with somebody, I did a NAVA plan, which is similar to your SunGuard software. And we always did the life insurance module. One of the first people that I sat down with when I got into business was my sister. So when I started at Prudential, they asked me to build my top 200 list of friends and family, and these are the people you're going to speak to so that you can sit down and see if they can benefit from an evaluation of their insurance and financial situation. My sister and her husband were kind enough to meet with me. We sat down and went through the discovery process, and we found out by looking at their debts and obligations and their mortgage that they needed more life insurance. So we did add some additional insurance to their portfolio. About 5 years after that, my sister was diagnosed with cancer. She was preferred plus when I wrote the case, diagnosed with cancer 5 years later. The type of cancer that she had was very aggressive, and the survival rate of beyond 5 years was only 50%. So she died within the next 5 years. So she put up a hard battle. But in addition to the final expenses, funeral costs, and unpaid medical bills, there were several other expenses that she had to deal with, or that she had left her husband to deal with. They had to travel to get her treatment. They went to Sloan Kettering in New York from Ohio. So there was travel time, there was unpaid medical leave. She had an accounting business that they had to unravel. And of course, she had no will, so she had to get her husband had to get a probate attorney involved to help settle her estate. So, long story short, if you fast forward from the time I met with her until the time that she passed, that life insurance did exactly what it was supposed to do. And I'm glad that I got to be the one to speak with her about it. So I just want you to understand the impact and the importance of what you're doing for your clients has for them. The big thing really is to provide some sort of continuity for them, some financial security for their family. And let's talk about the value of a human life. Now, you guys were all around when 9/11 happened, right? So how did they figure out how to disperse those funds when the tragedy occurred? They did what they called the value of a human life, and they took those individual workers that were killed in the attack and figured out how much money they would have made until they retired. And that's how they were able to determine how to disperse those funds. So that's one way to consider doing a life insurance analysis. What is the value of the human life that you're insuring? And the goal is, first and foremost, as a foundation of a financial plan, to provide income replacement. Okay, so if one was to have an untimely passing, that would of course create a great emotional burden for the family, but it would also create a financial burden as well. And in addition to the income replacement, there's some other things that would be unfunded. What about college goals? What about retirement plans? So life insurance is very important because in the absence to save, meaning your life is ended abruptly and you haven't quite funded those goals yet, that insurance provides the money necessary for the family to continue on. So what we want to talk about also are some additional ways that life insurance can be of value. Okay? So of course we want to talk about mortgage debt. That's an important thing to make sure is paid off if there's an untimely passing. We'll dig a little deeper into college funding. So with college funding, of course, the death benefit can provide the continuity of the goal, but guess what? If it's funded with permanent insurance and it never gets used as a death benefit, hopefully, that's the outcome we'd hope to have, you can access the cash value inside the insurance policy to help pay for some of those college expenses. And the same goes for retirement goals too. So if there's an untimely death, there would be money to provide a retirement nest egg, but if not, those cash values can be accessed to supplement retirement income. And there is some tax-deferred growth there that they can take advantage of. Charitable goals, for those of your clients who have charitable intentions that want to leave behind a legacy, that's a great way to do it through an insurance policy, and there's also some tax benefit that they can have. If they want to donate the policy or have the charity own it, they can get tax write-offs for the premium payments that they donate to the charity. It's also a great way to leverage an estate for tax efficiency. You guys work with a lot of clients who have big IRAs and they want to pass those on to their kids if they don't spend them down. Well, we're able to create liquidity using life insurance because that money, as you know, is taxable at death. There was a few years to liquidate and pay the tax, but the insurance can provide liquidity and leverage up the asset. It can also provide liquidity for estate tax purposes so that there is not an untimely selling of the assets when it comes time to pay those bills or inheritance taxes like there are in the state of Pennsylvania. So the two types of insurance, of course, we're going to talk about are going to be term and permanent. Now, I don't think that there's one particular product that's the answer for everything. I think blending is a very good strategy here. So when you have shorter term goals like mortgage debt, like a business debt obligation, something of that sort, or working until you're done earning and saving for retirement, term insurance is a great alternative. It also works very well for clients that have limited cash flow. Okay, so that's a great alternative because it is very inexpensive, but one of the best things about term insurance is the convertibility option. So as you're selling term insurance, make sure that you sell a carrier that gives you good convertibility. So usually you have a 10, 15, 20, or 30-year option on your term. They'll give you the ability to convert that by having the client sign a paper. You're protecting their insurability, so as they age and their health might decline, they can in turn get permanent insurance by simply signing a form. So make sure that that is a component of whatever term product that you sell. So it's a great solution, and it's the most cost-effective one. Permanent insurance, that's another great option. And I think using it for things such as funding a college goal or retirement are great because you do have tax-deferred growth inside the contract. It's a great Roth alternative. You can use that money again for other expenses down the road, and there are not a lot of limitations on the use of cash value in life insurance like there would be in some other retirement accounts. You can also have guaranteed premiums and guaranteed death benefit. So when you have a longer term need, like there needs to be some pension maximization because somebody took a payout option that might be less for a spouse, or if they're not going to be able to survive on one income with the passing of a spouse, permanent insurance is the answer. Term insurance won't get the job done. So that allows us to build a policy that will last to age 120, and if you build it with a guarantee, then those policies are not going to last and the premiums will not go up. Okay? But again, very valuable because they do have access to the internal cash, and the growth inside those policies would be through variable sub-accounts like you would see in any managed money or variable annuity platform. We have interest-based products, but in this environment it's not really a great choice right now to use an interest-based insurance policy. And then you also have index products, which I think you may have them coming to your platform at some point in the future. But that allows them to have some investment growth inside the contract if they so choose to utilize the cash at a later time. So overall, the importance of this discussion is not only to really make you think about what the importance of insurance is, not only as an underlying plan for clients to be able to have continuity and financial security for their family, but some of the other benefits involved. There's some reasons why you definitely want to take a look at this as you're meeting with your clients. First of all, you want to help them achieve their goals. Okay? You want to protect the financial security of their family, give them the peace of mind that they need, so if something ever happens, they know that they'll be taken care of. What's in it for you is the fact that you are making the assets on your book more sticky. You're leveraging them up. So while you might see some outflow going to pay for the insurance, when the death benefit comes back in, you're protecting those assets on your book from an untimely liquidation due to an unforeseen death. So those managed money accounts, those annuities, those securities accounts that you're protecting and managing, those won't get used, the insurance money will. Last but not least, and most importantly though, you'd be providing a high level of service to your clients that they're not getting from other advisors out there, and I can attest to that. But also, it's going to prevent your counterparts out there in the industry from having discussions with your clients that you should be having. So that being said, keep other advisors out of the fold and out of your book of business. Do it yourself.